So I've developed this scheme that you can make garments completely by hand. So you don't need a sewing machine, or you don't need to know how to knit or anything like that. You just like combine these pieces of fabric together by hand, and the process is also reversible, so you can take the garments apart. With construction blocks, I mean these kind of like construction kits that have loose pieces that you can use to build different things. So there's always instructions for some example products. So if you want to follow the instructions, you always know what to do and how to do it. But then the pieces themselves are generic shapes, so you can also use them for creating something completely different. So for example, after you finish creating some garment, you can wear it for a couple of weeks and then realize that, okay, it needs more pockets or longer sleeves. So you can then make adjustment to the thing, or then you can also take it apart completely and use pieces from other kits and combine them and create something completely different. I'm providing some guidance and some help with the blocks, but then there's still lots of like room to express yourself and make it look like your own design. Generative design can mean something where you give a program some like kind of seed or some rules that it uses to create something. So instead of like defining what the end result is, you define the rules that it should follow. So some kind of like constraint or style, and then it's free to generate in that style. And usually in these systems there's a human in the loop that you generate maybe like 100 options, and then the human decides that final garment. But that's also one area I'm really interested in, that can the machine actually also pick the best one. The way I do it, that I started completely from the baseline. So I create my own like design system that can make the construction blocks with the laser cutter. It does the pattern cutting, it does the grading to different sizes. It automatically draws the instructions for the assembly, and then also designs the actual garments, like what kind of like combinations the pieces can do. So I'm trying to remove myself from the process in order to force myself to automate everything. I've looked for some like references from philosophy quite a lot, because I think that's again like a path to understand design better. Like there are these like non-verbal things about design that have lots of like parallels in philosophical thinking about there existing something that's beyond language or that existed before language, and it's just like really inspiring and useful to look at stuff like that. I use lots of like automation and algorithms and stuff like that, but it's mostly to understand the design process better. So there is this like realm where mathematics exists and numbers exist, like regardless of if someone has thought about them. So I think again that's like really feeding into this idea, and I'm trying to expand design thinking to have some kind of like overlap with mathematics and logic and computation. And at Aalto, I think it's great that you can do both. Like you can take courses from other departments, and even if you don't do it yourself, you can collaborate with the other people, and it has this influence that there's this more like multidisciplinary approach to things. Yeah, I applied for the art and tech pitch competition with this idea of a clothing vending machine. So I had this idea of a machine where you order whatever you want with this little keypad, and then the machine designs it and then cuts the pieces. So it creates something unique every time. But I also use that in the Aalto Creatives idea. So Aalto Creatives process I applied with this idea of clothing construction blocks, and then I still use that like automation side to create the construction blocks. It's been really like great. Like it made me think more about the user and how to create the business out of this like purely design thinking. And I realized how much more I need to understand about the customer and the market, and it really like opened up this like whole new area of ideas that I haven't thought about. I thought I could still be a designer for like 80% of the time and just learn a little bit about the business, but I think it's too optimistic, that I need to really become like a full-time entrepreneur. Well, I want to really like build this idea into a real company, and I think it can be something like as big as Lego. So that's my goal.